Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on Their Fight Story. I have Denise Bruckner with. Denise, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I'm glad. I know we spoke before, and I know October is an important month for you. So I just wanted to touch base with you and see how you were doing.
I'm I'm doing good. It's been through the years, and I've learned to deal with things and handle things a little bit differently. You know, um, I think Austin's birthday has always been one of the hardest. Um, no matter what, there are some things that just don't get easier. I don't talk about this stuff too much to people, so seems like even though so much time has gone by, there's just so much pain that doesn't go away. But
Mhm.
other than that, I think I'm doing good.
I think you're doing amazing. Um, you are. You're doing great, and I want you to remember that he's always with you. At the same time, I want you to know that you're not alone. That we love you, and just because he's not here, I don't want you to think anybody has forgotten him. So that's why I wanted to follow up from our
I was
interview.
just gonna say that. I think that's what I worry about the most is people being like somebody told me that just it was just today they were telling me they have a picture of Austin on their refrigerator and they go, "Give me your address," and I was like, "No, keep it. It makes me feel good to know that there's still someone else in the world besides me that is still keeping a picture of my son up." Because sometimes I think that, I'm probably the only one anymore. I don't know, but it's nice to know that there's other people out there that still care enough about him and they haven't let those memories fade or those feelings fade.
I think it's because you keep him alive so much, and that is so important. That even though I've never met him, I still see him in places. What you're doing is great because there are a lot of mothers and fathers that have gone through something similar, don't really know how to get through it. Is there anything that you can give them as far as some of what you've gone through that's kind of helped you? Because this is something that will never, ever be gone. It's just something that we have to get through one day at a time.
I think, well, like I've seen a lot of people go through it. Some of it even the same situation I've been in, and I see a lot of people handling and deal with everything differently. Um, some people it hits harder, some people it just hits different, and some people react differently in order to cope.
Mhm.
Um, I personally I do well, like I said, my first few years, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because I was just a mess. Um, but what I would recommend what people do is understand the reality of the situation. It's not something that you can just push aside and move on and pretend that everything is okay. And I do see a lot of people do that in a sense, that because it's almost like they're afraid to cry or
Mhm.
afraid to let it out or afraid of what people will think. I know a lot of people will like, oh well, they're worried that other people are going to think, oh, you know what, you need to just move on. And you, moving on, I think that has different definitions because
Mhm.
you can move on after a divorce. You can move on after you lose a job. You can move on. You know, they're devastating effects in people's life, but there's no bringing your kids back. So moving on means means a different world. It means a different life. It means
Yes,
starting over as a different person, and that's probably the hardest part.
because we we grow up thinking that as a parent, our children are supposed to outlive us. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're
Well,
never.
they become your future.
Yeah.
I'll get that a lot is, well, just think of the good times, which, like, as if I don't.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's some things that you just can't push out of your head, and they can happen. Well, you asked, I think, how to move past the PTSD. Changed. It has changed in the sense that, because like I used to see, I mean, okay, I mean, I don't want to freak people out and I don't want to get people too upset, but I mean, I found my son hanging on a bedroom doorknob. So it took me, it was 30 minutes before help got there. And it took me by the time I found him, it was so tight that I had to drop him, go get scissors. There was so much involved to being there and trying to save him that for the longest time, every time I would see a door or something, I
Mhm.
would actually see him there and think that is really there. And people would go, "No, no, Denise, there is nothing there. Austin is not there. Austin," and I would be like, "Yes, he is. We got to save him. We got to save him." I would see it constantly all the time. Now it's for years. I don't get that anymore. I don't actually see it to the sense where I really think it's there. I do see it all the time, but I know it's not real, and so I'm able to push it aside and
Yeah.
move. Where there was a time where I thought it was real. These family members will never know my son, and they should. You know, that was the hardest part is meeting them without without him. Because all I could
Yeah.
do was pull out the pictures, and go, here's the nephew you didn't meet, here's the cousin you didn't know.
Yeah,
That
you're
was
doing you're doing something other people don't do. And you're allowing them to still know who he is, who he was, because a lot of people unfortunately think that because he's no longer here, that you're forbidden to talk about him or you're forbidden to even bring him up. And if people can talk about nonsense, why can't you talk about somebody so wonderful and loving and
Yes.
why?
I
Why
love it
why
when
can't
people
you?
talk about my son. Some people are afraid to bring him up. Some people don't bring him up because they're going to make me cry or they're afraid it's going to hurt, which it will. But I would rather them bring him
Mhm.
up than think that they don't care enough about him anymore to mention his name.
Exactly.
You know,
Eh,
that hurts more,
yeah.
you know, than not bringing him up. A friend of mine made a post the other day. It made my whole day because, I guess it was National Sons Day,
Yes.
and people were posting about their sons. And so she posted pictures of her son Eddie, but she posted pictures of her son Eddie when he was with my son when they were
Oh.
when they were little because they grew up together. So he posted pictures of them in third grade, of them in fourth grade, of them in sixth grade together, and that made my whole day. That someone other than me was still willing to post pictures about my son, even though it was about her son. She wanted my included in that. So it was nice to know that he's. I love it when I see other people remember
Yeah.
him too, because then I know that they were important. It was important to them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He is important. He'll
Yeah,
always be important. There is no time frame on that. It doesn't matter because when you're gone, you're going to be important and he's going to be important.
yeah,
And that's a bad like idea or that people are thinking like, "Oh, well, this person no longer is here, so we can't talk about it. We're forbidden. It's a taboo."
yeah,
And it shouldn't be that way.
yeah.
Um,
Kids are the best. Kids always, even today at the gym, at the jujitsu gym, if they see a picture on my phone, they'll look at my phone. Oh, who's that? And then I'll tell them, oh, that's my son. And they'll get sad too when I well,
Mhm.
he passed away. But then they'll ask questions. What was he like? What did he do? Did he like this kind of stuff? Did he,
Mhm.
I love kids because they are so not afraid.
Mhm.
Not at
Exactly.
all, and they almost like just take a hold of you,
Yes.
and they'll give you an extra hug because they know that you had a kid and you don't have them
Mhm.
anymore. So it's like, okay, well now let me give her that hug
Yeah.
for him, But kids, as young as 6, 7 years old, they have that mentality that, wow, they understand the loss,
Mhm.
and they want to and they want to know and they want to ask and I love that about kids. Where adults, you know, who's that? Oh, that's your son. Boom. They'll fly in the other direction as fast as they can go.
Yeah, it's
But not a
sad.
child.
It's
Yeah.
sad that and that's why they say, it's always nice to just be like a child because a
Hmm.
child has love, a child has forgiveness, a child has understanding, a child has compassion, a
Yes.
child has empathy. Things
Yep.
adults have completely forgotten about.
Yes, I think a lot of adults have, or they're just afraid. Where children don't have that fear.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know you have a flight or you're driving tomorrow.
I'm driving.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Get some rest. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. I
All right.
appreciate all of your time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.